Hello, today we're going to read Chapter 3, A Lonely Little Girl Grows Up. Eleanor Roosevelt once described her childhood self as an ugly little thing. She wasn't ugly, but she thought she was, perhaps because her mother was a great beauty. Eleanor had long blonde hair, blue eyes, a plain face, and teeth that seemed too big for her mouth. She was easily frightened and serious. Sometimes she told little lies because she was afraid people would not want to hear the truth. She had a dreadful childhood, not an ordinary, unhappy childhood, a horrible, awful, terrible, lonely one. She adored her father, Theodore Roosevelt's handsome brother Elliot, but most of the time he wasn't there. He was a sweet natured and charming, but he became an alcoholic. It ruined his life and his family's too. Once he took Eleanor and his prize terriers for a walk. They stopped at his men's club, and he left Eleanor and the dogs with the doorkeeper while he went inside just for a minute. Hours later, he was carried out drunk. The little girl was sent home in a taxi. When she was 8, her mother died. When she was 9, her brother died. Here's a picture when Eleanor was about 11 years old and she lost both of her parents. Eleanor and her younger brother Hal went to live with their grandmother, who didn't know anything about bringing up children. She lived in a big spooky house. The noise of the children playing bothered her. A governess took care of Eleanor and Hal. The governess was mean to Eleanor. Then Eleanor was sent away to school in England. Finally, her life took a happy turn. The principal of the school realized that Eleanor had a good mind and a generous, kind nature. Eleanor became her favorite student. She had a talent for leadership. She was able to inspire others to do their best. When Eleanor came home from England, she was tall and willowy. She still thought she was ugly, but other people didn't, especially her cousin Franklin, the most dashing of the young Roosevelts. He and Eleanor fell deeply in love. They were soon married. Before long, Eleanor found herself with 5 children, 3 houses that needed managing, and a husband with a very busy political career. Then her husband fell ill with polio. She had had experience with tragedy. Maybe that was why she handled it so well. Her husband's legs would never carry him again. She said that didn't need to stop him. There was no reason to change his goals. She could become his legs and his eyes and ears too. They were a team, one of the greatest political teams in history. He became president, but she was his link to the people. He stayed in the White House. She went to the coal mines and the factories and worker meetings. Then she told the president what people were thinking. As First Lady, Mrs. Roosevelt worked for many causes, including raising funds to aid children with polio, called the March of Dimes. It still exists today. It raises money today for premature babies. Eleanor Roosevelt made regular radio broadcasts for years. She actually did that prior to becoming First Lady. The first time she spoke before an audience, her knees shook. Soon she was one of the most successful speakers of her day. She wrote a newspaper column and a magazine column and books. She was the First Lady to hold regular press conferences. She served food to the needy, read stories to the poor children, visited hospitals, and spoke out for minority rights when few others did. It is hard for a president, any president, to take time to check out government projects. Besides, everyone knows when a president is coming to visit, so things can be made to look good beforehand. But no one knew where Eleanor Roosevelt would pop up. The Secret Service had a code name for her. They called her Rover. She checked up on government projects and told the president the truth about what was happening. If someone wrote to the president complaining about a problem, Eleanor made sure the letter got answered. Sometimes she invited the letter writer to dinner at the White House. She invited all kinds of people to the White House meals, young and old, rich and poor, people of every race and religion. Always she fought for the underdog, for those who were persecuted or treated unfairly. She wanted to see all people were given an equal opportunity. She worked for women's rights. She worked for minority rights. She stood on the side of truth and justice. When a women's organization refused to let Marian Anderson, a renowned black singer, use its auditorium, Mrs. Roosevelt resigned from the organization. She encouraged Marian Anderson to sing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Marian Anderson sang America, and more people heard her than could fit into any auditorium. Shy, insecure, ugly duckling Eleanor had grown up to be a strong, sensitive, capable person. She had a kind of no nonsense wisdom that made her admired around the world. She had been called the she has been called the outstanding woman of the 20th century. In 1939, some 75,000 people came to see Marian Anderson sing in front of the Lincoln Memorial.